If you're not careful and Noclip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the back rooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you. Greetings, Wanderer, and welcome back to the Noclip Podcast, the show where I teach you everything you need to know as you explore the backrooms. In this episode, we will be looking over levels 11 and 12. Let's get started. Level 11 is called the Concrete Jungle. It has a survival difficulty of Class 2E-Environmental. It is safe, stable, and devoid of life. Level 11 is the 12th level of the backrooms. Level 11 is a sprawling, desolate cityscape of monolithic buildings and winding asphalt roads. The architectural design of the structures in Level 11 varies moderately. Buildings typically appear to follow the architectural style of the modern urban West, but explorations further into the level have shown instances of differing architectural styles. This alteration in design appears to be correlated to one's relative entrance point. The further one travels from where they initially enter the level, the more varied and disorderly its architecture seems to become. The architecture of Level 11 is thought to be dynamic and ever-changing, influenced by both time and individual wanderer interaction. The scattered cityscape of Level 11 appears to have been haphazardly constructed and added to with no regard for aesthetic uniformity or habitability. Its infrastructure is largely unstable and non-Euclidean. It has been deemed impractical to properly map or navigate due to its inconsistent layout and geometry. Attempts to explore the level in a linear or direct fashion have all failed in some capacity on account of its confusing architecture. Several explorers have noted a strange inability to map out portions of the city for any significant distance without becoming lost or disoriented. Strangely, despite its lack of life, hints of past human occupancy are scattered throughout Level 11, such as litter and graffiti. These discoveries have prompted questions amongst wanderers regarding the level's past, and while nothing has been concretely established, many theories have arisen. Long, winding roads subdivide the masses of empty structures into dense, unclear sections. The traffic lights lining each street corner, if functional, flip frequently between red, yellow, and green, lacking any clear reason or pattern in their sequences and being seemingly pointless due to the overt lack of vehicles in the level. The roads themselves are often cracked and worn, with nonsensically labeled street signs standing inanely at their junctions. The only sounds that can be heard are the eerie creaks and groans of the worn building exposed to the elements, mixing with the gentle sound of wind to create an uneasy atmosphere. Analysis of the level's infrastructure has revealed the use of shoddy materials and construction methods, leading to the steady degradation of the roads and buildings. In fact, the gaps between buildings are often less than a meter wide, creating an almost maze-like environment. The unventilated interiors of the level's structure contain bizarre, often nonsensical layouts, twisting and winding into confusing corridors with odd, out-of-place furnishings. The interiors appear to follow no logical architectural pattern. Staircases often end abruptly, doors frequently lead to flat walls behind them, and hallways tend to loop back to their origin, lead to dead ends, or extend on seemingly endlessly. Their labyrinthine designs are often difficult to navigate, causing confusion and disorientation in those who decide to venture into their senseless heights. Those who have remained in Level 11 for an extended period of time have commonly reported feeling a lingering sensation of being watched or followed, though these feelings are commonly interpreted as being psychosomatic in nature. The level has been described as having an almost intangible ambient pressure emanating from within its core. Additional investigation into the level's climate has revealed significant amounts of pollution in the air, such as carbon monoxide and various nitrogen oxides. contaminants that commonly result from vehicular and industrial activity. The presence of these pollutants is highly peculiar due to the barren nature of Level 11, but regardless of their origin, they have raised concern about the safety of prolonged exposure to the level's air. Further study of the level's properties has suggested the presence of differing gravitational and magnetic properties in certain areas, implying that it may have a non-uniform distribution of mass, or suggesting the existence of structures in the level with extremely high densities. This finding has increased speculation about the composition of the level. It is thought that the study of its effects on gravitational and magnetic fields may provide valuable insight into its laws of physics and challenge current understanding of such phenomena. As I made my way deeper into the heart of the city, I was struck by the stark barrenness of my surroundings. The buildings were towering and imposing, casting long shadows over the empty roads below. The silence was palpable. Level 11 appears to be entirely devoid of life. The majority of those who have explored the level and returned have described it as large enough to hold hundreds of thousands or even millions of residents. Despite this, such reports also detailed the complete lack of any apparent life within it. Even plant matter, such as grass and trees, remain in a dead or decomposed state, bereft of leaves or foliage. The exact cause of this phenomenon is unknown, in addition to how such plant matter initially grew to begin with. Strangely, experiments involving the manual introduction of foreign flora into the environment of Level 11 have revealed that plants exhibit an inexplicably accelerated rate of decomposition, with all vegetation decomposing and withering away within a matter of minutes, regardless of actual contact with the air. There are currently 3 known entrances to Level 11. Following a dirt road for a prolonged period of time in Level 10 may eventually lead to this level. More open areas of Level 84 may lead to this level. Certain office buildings in Level 851 may transport one to similar buildings in Level 11. There are currently 6 known ways to exit Level 11. Certain alley streets may connect to a long dirt road, eventually leading to Level 10. Removing a manhole cover and descending downward will lead to Level 2. Entering exceedingly cramped areas of the level may transport one to Level 84. No clipping through a 60s advertisement will bring one to Level 85. Roads with increasingly colder temperatures may lead to Level 101. Traveling down large, empty highways may lead to Level -69. Level 12 is known nothing more than the Matrix.
Back OS version 1.4.2 Administrator access. Scanning. Request accepted. Redirecting. Scan ended. Welcome to the archives. Gary.
The following text was found in a journal discovered in Level 4.
The white light was blinding. My head buzzed just looking at it. I lay in a room perfectly pristine, nothing shattering the pure white until I lifted my head. A table and chair placed perfectly in the center of the room confused me. Above hung 2 lights. They remind me of those I saw in a pub once. My cuts stung from the broken glass. It was around me, yet I could not see. Light seemed to refract and make my head worse as I glanced past it. The loud static buzzing did not help. A heavy vault mounted on the southern wall of the room, shut tight, reminded me of a movie I had once watched about a bank. Its reflective surface made me look down at my worn form. I felt tattered and scared. Running from things does that, I suppose. I leaned against the door, gripping the handle, not expecting anything to happen, and felt a soft click as the door unlocked. I peered cautiously around the door, opened with a groan. Ahead, an ashen house of sorts presented itself, and a wave of stale air hit my nostrils. The walls and everything in it were seemingly shades of gray. The static buzz was growing. My head was beginning to spin. Around the room lay things I had in my home. Desks of this gray wood, chairs that felt like leather, and pictures of nothing. I knew this was not right. Everything was so wrong. As I took a deep breath and closed my eyes, visions of eyes radiating purple and green colors overtook me quickly. I opened my eyes timidly at first, then snapped them open while simultaneously slamming my hands over my ears. I know I saw the house begin to buzz. Gradually, patches of rectangular static material began to appear. I heard music. I had heard my high school prom, yet I had this distorted air to it. It seemed to come from the pictures strewn around the walls. The pictures now were buzzing too, a different type of buzz. I began to notice that they were radiating a purple color as the faint outline of a sort of pixelated eyes began to appear. I felt unsure, more unsure than I had ever felt traversing this hellhole. This should not be happening. I looked at everything confused and began to panic, running around the house, from monochrome bedrooms to static kitchens radiating white glow from rectangles dotted around the room. Windows glowed white and I could make out a blizzard on the outside. White forests rolled behind the glass. Eyes started to appear, their forms now developed in pictures and their radiating bodies, almost pixelated, appearing around corners and disappearing the moment I came close. I ran and I ran. I soon came to a hallway filled with locked doors. Once I had entered, the level behind me seemed to disintegrate as white light began to pour down the halls before turning into static material, similar to what of a television without a connection. The buzzing now was making my head burn. The feeling was as if someone drove millions of needles into my brain. I ran down the halls, which seemed to stretch out and bend before my very eyes. The level seemed to have a static glitch. Colorless shapes flashed, and I ran down a hall filled with grayscale trees and littered with snow that scratched my face and stung my eyes. Eyes peered around the trees and stared at me as I ran, terrified, past them. The trees seemed to phase through the walls. They were passing through, as if they were non-existent. I ran for what felt like an eternity before eventually a door appeared. It came open with ease, and into level 13 I went. I can still hear the "white" ringing in my head. Even as I write this, I wonder if this was a dream. I know it is not. My blood has stained my journal. Maybe other entrances and exits exist. My camera was on. The recording only contained static, similar to the static material in the level. Maybe it was censored. The level might have done it, or the eyes. I don't know. I'm too scared to go back. Andrew P. Henry, 1987.
Thank you all for watching this episode of the Noclip podcast. If you'd like to see more episodes in the future, please follow or subscribe on whatever platform you happen to be listening on. This has been the Noclip podcast. Safe travels, watch out for entities, stock up on almond water, and we'll see you in the next one, Wanderer.